Yo, what's up? Welcome back. Gonna try something a little bit different with these Camerumours episodes going forward. We're gonna try having me and the browser on the screen. So rather than me reading off the script, I'm just gonna go through all the articles that I got the information from, and we're gonna digest it together so you can kind of see exactly what it is I'm looking at, and who knows, you might kind of go and navigate and find them yourselves. So without further ado, let's jump in. Okay, so this week we got the DJI Osmo Pocket 2, the second edition of the Osmo Pocket that was released, I think it was last year. And I mean, in concept, I absolutely love this. You know, it's a tiny little gimbalized camera. It's like they've pulled it off of something like the Mavic Air or the Mavic Pro, stuck it on a little handle, and you've got yourself a really decent camera for the price. Now, the Osmo Pocket 2 comes with obviously a few drawbacks. You've got a small camera, like the sensor is going to be very, very small. So I think it's got, yeah, there you go. So you've got a new 1.17 inch sensor on the Pocket 2. So it's a little bit bigger, but obviously it's nowhere near the size of something like a micro four thirds sensor like what we've got on this Blackmagic. So here you can see everything that we've got that's new. So one of the things that I thought was quite cool was the 4-array microphone, which means you've got stereo sound on both the front and the back. So no matter whether or not you flip it around so it's facing out from the control or in towards the control, you have got the audio all there for you. Another really cool thing, I think anyway, from this Pocket is the 4K 60 frames a second video. You can see here, so the larger camera sensor of the Pocket 2 means more beautiful images and video regardless of the time of day, and you can toggle between 64 megapixels and 16 megapixel stills, which I think is amazing. As usual, it has the active track, joystick control, wireless connectivity, 8x slow-mo, and the hybrid autofocus too. Now, one of the things I saw was they had like a little extendy thing on the bottom which allows you to attach a wireless lav mic. The little case it comes in as well has a couple of really cool little kind of connectivity doodads in it, so you can slap the USB-C and the lightning connector inside. So if you want to connect it to your phone, you've got all that with you, so you don't have to worry about it flapping around. And also, interestingly, for vloggers, you get a wide angle lens attachment, which basically widens the lens that's already on it and it gives you more something akin to, I think, a 20mm lens from something like a 24-26, I believe it is. So that wider field of view is really handy if you are a vlogger. But moving on to Canon C90. Let's get rid of that. So as you can see, for a couple of these, I'm using Camerumours, not Camerumours, that's this video. I'm using Camerumours for most of these. And to be honest, that website is actually where I get most of my information from. So shout out to them for doing such a good job with this kind of blog news page. So we saw the C70 a kind of couple of weeks ago now, I believe it was, and that was kind of Canon's first, like, I don't know, pocket cinema camera, I guess you could say, because it's similar in size but a bit bigger to the Pocket 4K, although it does have a flip out screen, which this doesn't, and we all know how much I dislike that. So the next one will be a small box style camera apparently, and that's going to be the C90. Now this box like camera, in my opinion, will look a lot like the Red Komodo or the Zcam E2, I think it's called. So that is my personal favorite of like form factors. I like the way that Red have done it with the original like Red cameras in that kind of cuboid kind of shape, but also the Komodo with that cube shape, which is, oh, it's just, I love it. I think it's an amazing little camera, an amazing form factor, especially things like whacking it on gimbals, anything where you can, you know, benefit from having such a small form factor while still getting that high performance. Now, if you take a quick look at the like rumored C lineup here, you see that you've got obviously the C50, which is something that I mentioned before, the C70, which has been released, the C90, which has been rumored here, potentially a new C200, C300 Mark III, C500 Mark II, which we know about, and then the C700s with the full frame C700 sitting at the top, the big old big ting that's sitting at the top of all of the C line. So yeah, like, so we'll be getting a C90 as early as 2021, which would be interesting. A little bit better than the C70, but not quite as good as something like a C200, C100, maybe we'll get a new C100 as well. Okay, so moving on then, we've got the Yongguo 35mm f2 FE lens for Sony cameras. Now, I'll touch on this again. If you've been watching my other videos, you know that I have ordered an A7C. That was supposed to be here today. It's delayed till tomorrow, not tomorrow, Monday. Wait, actually, when you're watching this, it was delayed. It was meant to be delivered yesterday. It's not being delivered until tomorrow. There we go. A bit of a more inaccurate timeline now. So, this has been released, this Yongguo 35mm f2 Sony lens. I'm excited. You know, it could be real good. Could be good for us. And it'll soon be available through Amazon's US store from Yongguo. And now, from what I gather from this article, it was all in a different language and Google translated it back to this. So, we'll have the FN custom function buttons that you get on some of the Sony lenses. It'll be small and light, which is quite nice to have. Very, very quiet stepping motor. An f2 aperture, like, obviously that's massive. Like, we love, like, good large apertures because it means that we get real nice bokeh. We get nice bokeh, and we all love that. So we'll have 9 optical lenses in 8 groups. Blah 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 blah. But the question is, will it be very good, and how much is it? No idea. Now, if it's around about 300 quid, actually maybe a bit less than that. 35mm f2, around 300 quid maybe, 250, 300 quid. I reckon that would be pretty good for an off-brand lens. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you're a Sony shooter or even if you're a Canon shooter, whatever you're shooting, just let me know down in the comments. What do you think to a lens like this? Again, I'm always saying, you know, competition like this is good for the consumer. It drives innovation. It drives prices down. Competition, it's always good for us. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Let's move on. Sigma obviously make some killer lenses. Now, my migration to Sony, if I enjoy the A7C, I do plan on getting Sigma lenses for that system. I don't plan on sticking with Sony lenses. I plan on getting Sigma lenses purely because they are awesome. They are very good lenses. I'm a big fan of them, and I'm excited to kind of have a bit of an array of Sigma glass, especially the Art series. I'm still planning on picking up an 18-35 for this camera, the Blackmagic Pocket 4K. So, you know, we'll see what happens there. But Sigma have said they're releasing a 200mm f2 at 200mm. That's going to be razor thin. That's going to be absolutely wonderful. We're going to like that very much. And in the second half of 2021, which will be good. Now, I personally, I would say 200mm for me is not a lens I would buy. I reckon it will be lovely, but it's not a lens I would buy, and I'll tell you why. So I have an f2.8. I know it's an f2.8, not an f2. I have an f2.8 70-200, right? I know it's a zoom lens, not a prime. However, it does the job I need it to do and more. It does more than what the 200mm would do. And at f2, in my opinion, even with autofocus, I'm not 100% on the sharpness. So I probably wouldn't use a lens like this. It's very nice that they're doing it for everybody else. However, I probably wouldn't use a lens like this. Moving on to the white ZV-1. Now, I have a love for white technology products. I have a white M50, as I'm sure you're aware if you've watched lots of videos on this channel. If you haven't watched lots of videos on this channel, please watch lots of videos on this channel. Don't forget to like, comment, get subscribed, you know, all the good stuff. But Sony ZV-1, obviously, vlogging powerhouse camera, comes with that cool little grip thing. And Sony Japan announced the white ZV-1 by listing it on their website. And yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Now, my only issue with the white cameras is, and I don't think this really applies to this, but white cameras in general, especially the M50, if you go to do a like pro shoot with it, it shouldn't matter, but it kind of probably does. Someone's going to go, like, they're going to look at that and then going to think that's not like a professional camera just because it's white, not black. I say no to that, by the way. I don't agree with that at all. I'm not. If someone turns up with a camera, I'm going to assume they know how to use it because, you know, I've hired them to do something. And the color of the camera shouldn't make a difference because it doesn't, because the black one's the same as the white one. So yeah, Sony ZV-1 in white. You can pre-order it apparently. And that moves us on to, just double check we've done that. Yeah, we have done that. Good. The Luminar AI software. Now, I wanted to talk about this in this episode because it's a hot topic. Luminar is a hot topic. Now, if you are familiar with Luminar, it's obviously photo editing software, just like Lightroom and Photoshop, and you can do some cool, clever things with it. Now, from what I've seen, this Luminar AI learns from professionals and you how you like to edit your photos, and it does it all for you very quickly. How cool is that? Or is it cool? Do you like it? Do you not like it? So, from what we see here, right, you can see all of these different examples here, right? You can add contrast, you can add mood, you can do all of these different things. If you come down here, this shows you like the kind of thing that it does based on like other people's work, sliding around, and this is all done by AI. Now, I think these are very stylized examples. Obviously, they're not my. I think this is probably like the closest thing I would do. That's. But at the end of the day, it learns from you. Now, is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? And for me, all of these things really are kind of very subjective. Like, I personally am a believer that it doesn't stop at the camera. Like, some people think that photography is you take the photo and that is pretty much it. They hate cropping, they hate any kind of color adjustment, anything like that. I'm very much a case of, a camera is a tool for you to create your art. This is getting very philosophical, but I believe that once I've taken that picture, I can just decide what I want to do with that picture. It's my picture. You know what I mean? So if I want to use AI to edit this picture, I can do so. And, if you're editing lots of pictures and it's the way that you want to do it, say, for instance, you make YouTube videos, but you're also a photographer and you're also a freelancer, you might not always have time to go through all of your pictures and do something, but at the same time, you want to get your results quickly, but you don't want to use a lot because a lot only takes a start thing to an end thing based on what the start thing was, whereas the AI can probably take it to the end thing based on whatever it is. So I think, I personally think AI is good. That is my opinion. Let me know down in the comments what your opinion is on AI in photography and videography as well, because you can procedurally and AI generate CGI stuff for videography with realism nowadays. So it's not just photography that this always plays to. But what I will say on that note is that is it for this video. Let me know, did you like the new format? Did you like being able to see everything? If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. I appreciate your feedback. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, specifically Twitter, because then you can see my ramblings. You can see me share cool stuff like this when it comes out, like if there's ever like a cool release or anything. If you want to ask me questions, if you want to have a photo discussion, or just generally see me rant about things, follow me on Twitter. It's fun. It's good stuff. But until the next one, see ya.